Hey guys, and we're back for another episode of Backstage OKC. I'm your girl at Raigen Alexis.
I'm your girl Fallon OKC.
And we are here with
Westin.
If you guys don't know, Westin is a part of the lineup OKC team, but he's on the back end, so
it's good to be on this end for once.
Yeah. We wanted, because today we're doing things a little bit differently. We're not interviewing, we're just kind of
having a discussion
of things that are going on in hip-hop and throughout Oklahoma City. So if you guys like this, let us know in the comments down below, or send us a DM, comment anything. We love getting
Give us some feedback.
Yes, we love feedback, as long as it's constructive. Don't tell me our show fucking sucks, because it's not constructive.
Right.
Suggestion box, not a criticism box.
But anyway, so we're here today. We have a couple of things that we wanted to discuss. Our last episode got a little bit feisty.
It got a little bit heated and
but not in a bad way. The thing
is,
the thing is, for people who don't know me and Dre were in no means mad at each other. That was not like an argument. I'm just very passionate. So when I get passionate, I'm loud already. So then, like, when I'm in my passionate, like, zone, it's, like, amplified. It's like when I'm passionate or drunk, those are my amplifications of my personality.
That's so true.
Which is why I never let you drink on the podcast.
That's why I don't, period. Because this would just be a hot, slushy mess.
But y'all liked it. Everybody liked it. I liked it. And I always tell Raigen to do a little bit more of that.
So I'll save my Super Saiyan Charlemagne for another day.
Seriously.
He was pretty calm though. Like I watched that.
Kanye Dre's just you're talking about Kanye?
No. Dre. I mean, he was relatively calm in comparison.
Well, Dre's a calm, just a calm person. Like I think even when I was going to talk to him, like when we were going our back and forth, that's like the most like emotion I've seen him. Not knowing Dre for a while.
He's been on the center side for so many times.
So mellow
and hasn't really said much. He doesn't really share his opinion too much. But that day, he had a lot to say.
And I loved it. I love when people can
discuss and share their opinion and be true to their opinion. A lot of people come on here and just say what they think y'all want to hear.
Exactly.
And we're here to say how we feel.
Yeah. I feel like some people are like not specific enough though. Like in their like conversation, like things are just really general.
Because it's so hard.
He was good and specific about like, even though like I definitely disagreed with him on some of the things he said, like he was at least like specific, like he was giving situations and scenarios and things like that he could talk about.
And that's how you have a formulated argument. You state your opinion and you back it up with facts. You don't just state your opinion and we'll be like, well, this is what it is.
Just because.
Because that's not interesting. To be interesting, you have to be specific.
But speaking of rants, that leads us to a very hot topic that was more kind of last week, but we couldn't record until today. So we're going to bring it up again. Mr. West.
Mr. Kanye West. Ooh, hasn't he been doing the most?
Everybody kind of knows what's been going on, I hope, but Kanye returned to Twitter and everybody's like, hey, Kanye's finally tweeting again. And from there, he just went south very, very fast.
He had so much to say.
So much to say.
His manager was freaking out.
He fired his manager.
Yeah.
He said, nobody can manage me.
I mean,
you need to hire a publicist.
He probably had one and he fired him.
So I'm sure everybody kind of already has their opinions and we don't have to go too deep into it just because it's weighed out. But one of the things that really stirred up a lot of emotions was Kanye's TMZ. Mm-hmm. You don't think so?
No, it did. No, I was saying,
okay. So Kanye's TMZ appearance, he took over TMZ for the day and they were asking him questions and kind of been like, dude, what are you ranting about? Yeah. And so he was just talking about his opioid addiction. He was talking about liposuction. He was talking about... So the thing that really pissed people off was he said that he was like, slaves are in bondage for 400 years. Like someone's in bondage for 400 years. To me, that sounds like a choice. And so one of the things that a lot of people were pissed, they're heated, like, slavery, if slavery was a choice, was trending on Twitter within minutes.
Yeah, it's Kanye West.
So, a lot of people were like, oh, you don't understand where Kanye's coming from. Watch the Charlemagne interview, which again, the Charlemagne interview,
they dropped like the same day.
They dropped the same day, but where my issue aligned with it is a lot of people were like, well, go watch the Charlemagne interview. Okay, we can watch it, but you also have to keep in hindsight, that interview was recorded prior to the TMZ thing.
It was prior
so it's like,
tweets. It was a he.
Yeah, it was a while before. So it was like
mm-hmm.
you have to kind of take it for a grain of salt because this is how you feel. But then weeks later, you're now spouting something different. And so I think and I'll let you guys again jump in as soon as I'm done this recap. But my issue with it wasn't not necessarily what he said, but his whole thing of just saying like, I'm thinking freely now. Free thought, like don't hold me back. Like these are my opinions.
Yeah.
You've always had free thought. You've always had free reign. 9 times out of 10, the black community has stood through him throughout his foolishness. Whether it was when he got up and said George Bush didn't care about black people, whether it was when he snatched that shit from Taylor Swift, or when everybody had his back when Taylor Swift tried to lowball him, even though he had called her and said, hey, this is what I'm gonna do for the song. Like a lot of people have like had Kanye's back. So for him to say, oh, I'm thinking freely, you've always had that. No, you're not thinking freely. What you're doing is regurgitating conservative talking points and then saying that's free thought. If you want to be a conservative, you want to have conservative thoughts, that's fine. Nobody's ever stopped you from that. But don't articulate it as free thought just because you're aligning yourself with the president. Most people prior to this whole election align themselves with the president. But anyway, let's divulge on y'all's opinions.
Yeah. Well, do you want to go first?
I mean,
you go first or I can go first?
I mean, I don't really know how to come at this because I feel like Kanye kind of just said that. I don't feel like he thought about what he was saying before he said it.
Well, but for someone like at his platform, like I get that. Like if he wasn't thinking before he was speaking, but like to have his platform and to speak like that without really like considering the context and whatnot, like what he said was ridiculous. But like also like his whole free thought thing, I kind of have trouble understanding because what he's talking about isn't really like free thought. Like trying to minimize slavery or like downplay slavery is like the OG American like patriarchal white thought. Like everyone wants to forget about that. Like and to be honest, like I feel like that's not really a free thought at all. Like it's just a thought without thinking.
Right.
You know?
And I feel like a lot of Kanye fans that I've been talking to have been saying, you know what, I know what Kanye means. Like they have to interpret what he meant, like what he meant by that statement.
Yeah, I hate that. It sounds just like Donald Trump. It's like people say that about Donald Trump. It's like, no, like you're at a point and you have a platform, you have to be held accountable for literally the words that come out of your mouth.
And I feel like people forget Kanye is not a child.
He's not
He's
dumb.
not 21.
Yeah.
He's not like new to the career. He's not new to fame. Like he's been like everybody has known Kanye for his rants and his opinions, his political opinions at that. So he's not new to this game. So my thing is, if I'm a multi-Grammy winning artist with millions of dollars and millions of followers, I know I'm not an eloquent speaker. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pre-plan my thoughts so there's no misconceptions or miscommunication on what I'm trying to articulate. That's just smart. That's just being an adult. And it's hard for me to like, because some people will say, well, that's what's wrong is that you should be able to say what you want to say. Well,
but I feel like Kanye gets caught up in I want to say what if he hires someone to help him with what he wants to say, he feels like what he's trying to say is being taken away.
No, he doesn't have to hire someone. I'm saying he can sit down and plan his thoughts. It's okay to have talking points and cards. People do it all the time.
But I don't think he planned on saying that, you know?
I don't think he did either. And so my thing is that one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to, it's called The Read. One of the girls, Crystal, always says, words mean things. Meaning, what you say is what's going to be construed. It might not be what you meant, but you said it. And that's what people are going to take from it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, like, people, like, the thing that I think, one of the things he really doesn't understand, too, and I know you and I were talking about this earlier downstairs, but, like, the sort of Fox and Friends, Fox News, conservative area, like, who do they have in the pop culture, like, sphere that's really like in their circle? Like there's not really anybody. Like I'm trying to think of like
musicians.
Sure, I mean that's kind of a given, but like really like relevant. Like Kanye, when he says something like you said earlier, it's trending on Twitter immediately, and you know there's really nobody that conservatives have that I know of at least like that. And those Fox and Friends type of people, like they're gonna hop on that. And they're going to take those little words that he said, you know, agreeing with the president, and sort of like use Kanye at that point to just be a recruiting tool.
Exactly.
Be like, look,
100%.
We're cool, we're relevant, you know.
We're not racist. We have a black rapper.
But then every other, you know, African American that they have are criticizing on there, you know, athletes, LeBron, anybody that speaks out, it's like, no, just shut up and dribble. But like, really, the moment that you get Kanye, I just like, it's so clearly a double standard.
Because if Kanye would have came on his platform and said, fuck Donald Trump,
they would have been on there like, oh, like, here's a rapper.
Just go ahead and rap. Like, you don't know anything about politics, blah, 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 blah. But now that he's flipped sides, then all of a sudden they want to grab that and harm us.
But time out, y'all. Do you think that Kanye has a master plan with this? Like, maybe he's teaming up with Trump to become, like, flip on him later?
That would make sense if... Well, I mean,
I don't think that at all.
One, I don't think that, but two, a lot of the critiques that I saw was that at least he's trying to meet with the president and change things and da-da-da-da. My thing is, okay, that's a noble cause, but you have not researched, you said yourself that he has not researched any of Trump's policies. So how can you expect change if you don't even know what you can change? Because the things that are passing, these bills, are affecting real life people, and it's for the worse, and it's affecting low income people, specifically a lot of black people and people of color.
And also what I want to touch on that is that he commented how Obama didn't really do anything for Chicago while he was in office. But it's like, Kanye, at the same time, why weren't you going to meet up with Obama to
if that's how you truly felt,
instead of waiting for the next president? You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, can we really take Chicago just out of a talking point? Because I feel like people who always bring up Chicago really don't care about Chicago. They use it as a talking point. Anytime gun control, Chicago. Anytime violence, Chicago. But y'all don't really care. Y'all just want to use Chicago as a talking point.
You're right.
And Chicago has been a violent city. There's a whole screenplay that was on Broadway that they adapted into a thing about crime in Chicago. And this was like in the 20s?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's like Chicago has been a crime-ridden city. It didn't just start when Obama was president and it didn't end when Obama was president.
Right.
Well, it's all context. Like everything like that, it has so much to do with the context and the gun laws in other states surrounding Chicago and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and for sure, like every statistic matters. Like every person that loses their lives in Chicago, like that does matter. But for it to be a talking point used just like so flippantly, like I get that. Like it's sort of like at that point, like you're reducing that to not really being worth something if you're not explaining the greater context.
Exactly.
Context.
Well.
Yeah.
Do
there's
to add?
a lot we can talk about.
And so, so to keep moving on, what do you guys think about the Charlemagne interview?
It was really well produced.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really was.
The cinematography was great.
From my perspective, I'm really excited to see sort of Kanye's little development scheme and see what he does with that. That could be cool.
There was a conspiracy on Twitter that this was all just a performance art piece.
I don't know. I feel like Kanye is stretching himself thin. Like, he wants to take over
I don't know about his music
the fashion industry, the music industry. He wants to be the most influential person in the world. He wants to low-key be president. He wants to build communities. I
think he needs to, it's okay to be.
And I feel like this is a part of, everyone saying he has mental illness, but people who have mental illness tend to do this and then they stop and then they're like, I want to do this, and then they stop and then they want to do this. And
I wish we kind of would stop blanketing mental illness, because there is specific issues within the mental illness realm, and I really wish when people are acting erratic that people automatically go to mental illness, because yes, mental illness is a stigma. It's very under the budgets for mental illness help has been cut, but I think we need to remember, like, there are specifically people who are like schizophrenic or people battling anxiety or depression, and I think we need to just stop blanketing it like as mental. Like anytime somebody does something off the charts that's irregular, oh, it's mental illness.
Agreed, but I feel like a lot of people have mental illnesses that go undiagnosed.
No, 100%. I agree with that too, but I feel like now it's becoming this thing to say, and it kind of.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like 1 out of 4 people have a mental disability or a mental illness that they don't even know about. And it exudes, and people wonder, why they act in a certain way. I would say that I even have a little touch of certain mental illness. Not that, but like I know people in my family who have like mania or who have bipolar, and it runs in family.
I agree 100%. I'm not saying that to diminish anybody. I just feel like sometimes people do dumb shit and say dumb things, and so many people are quick to co-sign it or like excuse it by bringing up mental illness when that person really just did something stupid.
That topic really sort of was like at the forefront of this whole mass shootings thing. Like some people just wanted to be like, oh, it's not about like reducing people's access to, you know, AR-15s and 100-round clips and stuff like that. It's really about like just getting mental illness
and mental health, which would be great if we would stop cutting the budget.
Not every it's like not every person that does that. I don't know. It's a whole other topic.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. Sometimes there are just evil people in the world who want to do evil things.
So is the consensus that you guys think that Kanye is acting erratically because of sort of an imbalance or a lack or, you know, enough medication?
I mean,
is that what y'all are saying? Or are you
I think
saying
he's
like
up to something. I think that I think his ultimate goal is what he says. He wants to be the most influential person. He wants everyone to be talking about him. And so that's one reason why he dropped those 2 tapes and the one, what's it called? Lift Yourself.
Yeah, that was weird.
Did you guys like those? I haven't even heard that, to be honest. It's not...
Yay versus the people I thought
he was going to take it down.
And I was just like...
I heard that verse on that Travis Scott and Lil Uzi song, and I thought it was trash.
I thought it was awful.
I thought it was trash.
And that's not even me, like, trying to down Kanye because I'm not a fan of him right now, but I really just did not like the verse.
I like Kanye West's music. Like, in the past, like, I've consistently thought he's put good, but I mean, there's been these last couple things that dropped that I've kind of been like, I mean, my favorite album was, you know, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, or that was really I really liked that entire, like, the production, all the videos and everything. Like, to me, that was like a really like good masterpiece. But since then, sort of been
because even people were really putting The Life of Pablo on a pedestal. Don't get me wrong, it was a
there was
good
some
album,
amazing songs on there,
but just like some of the stuff, like one thing that it's so hard for me to forgive is Father Stretch My Hands Part 2, because that beat and the production is just like immaculate. Like you have Cuddy on the hook, just like the samples, the way it's cut, even the Metro tag is a part of it, and then you have this amazing chorus, and then his first line is, "Now if I fuck this model,
she just bleeds
her asshole." Like, I'm like, really? Yay, really? That's what we gonna say? Like, you have this, you're right. You have this great, and my thing is, like, what even,
I still sing that really loud.
I mean, I do too, because everything else surrounding the song is so immaculate.
But I feel like it still comes back to him trying to get that ultimate goal. He wants everyone to be talking about him. That's one reason why I feel like he married Kim, because everyone talks about Kim, so he had to make himself associated to her.
But if Kanye wanted to be,
I think he has a complex.
You think he's got a complex?
Yeah. But listen to this. I feel like the new song, the Poopity Scoop song.
The Poopity Scoop. He can't even get known for his
But he sees these SoundCloud rappers, you know, making sounds on tracks, and it's getting lots of streams, and he's like, oh, I can do it too. Poopity Scoop. You know what I'm saying?
Because I will say that is a thing someone always says, is that this artist is so high that they could put out anything and people would listen to it. So I feel like, in a sense, he's testing that theory.
I feel like he is. And he's taking every route. He's doing the Poopity Scoop. He's doing Trump. He's doing the Kardashians. Like,
he's doing the Kardashians.
he is.
I don't know.
We don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, like, I don't know. I mean...
And that's why
did he seem kind of bitter in that Charlemagne... Like, in the really long interview in his house?
2 hours, right?
Yeah. Didn't he seem... He seemed a little bit bitter he mentioned Drake, like, he was like, man, it sucked to see, like, you know, I put out, you know, Pablo, and I saw it in the club, and then all of a sudden, you know, Drake put something out, which, honestly, I mean, I'm a bigger Drake fan than Kanye.
I think he's mad that Drake does it so effortlessly, whereas Kanye has to work a little bit harder.
That's because OVO is a machine, and that is one thing that Drake knew. What he needed to do is he needed to surround himself with a good publicist, a good marketing machine, and good, because he probably got some skeletons, but guess what? We don't hear about them. And that's what happens when you become upper echelon. You gotta elevate your circle and the people you surround yourself with.
Where did Kanye go wrong?
Thank you.
Where did Kanye go wrong? Because he was going towards that same path. You know what I'm saying?
He still puts out.
Because I think, I think that
was it after his mom's?
I think what really Kanye's issue is he lost the support of his main fan base. So if we take it back to his first 3 albums, like Registration, Graduation, and College Dropout. College Dropout was the first.
Yeah.
Who was listening to College Dropout? More Black people from Chicago. I mean, I'm not saying white people didn't listen, but you know what I mean? He wasn't a lot of his music was politically driven. It had like, you know, deeper thought, deeper meaning. It wasn't just like a club record that you just put out. Now, so that's where Kanye was. Those were his main fans. And where Drake comes is Drake kind of started as like this club for everyone rapper, because his first real big hit was Baby You My Everything. You know what I mean? That was a song for everyone. It was catchy, had a good hook.
But Drake's never stopped that.
And that's what I'm saying. But who was his main? That thing is, Drake wasn't just trying to appeal to black people or white. Like, it wasn't like a political driven song. It was just a good bop of a hip hop record, you know, of like circa 2009.
Yeah.
So I think that's like kind of, as Kanye got bigger, he was starting to move away from his.
Was he trying to go mainstream?
I don't know if he was trying to go mainstream. I mean, it happened because he's so good, but.
I mean, I mean, I'm probably not qualified to say where he's going musically, but right now I feel like it's just maybe not a direction that I'm connecting with.
Well, I just feel like he's trying to pull a stunt, and I'm not for it. I'm not giving him no streams. I haven't downloaded either of those songs. I probably listened to them only once just so I can critique them, and I watched the Charlamagne interview once just so I can critique it. Like, that's all he's going to get from me.
And I feel like the Charlamagne interview was just kind of... He was saying something, but also saying nothing at the same time.
Charlamagne didn't go in on him.
And that's the thing. Charlamagne didn't question him and go into him like Charlamagne does on a SoundCloud rapper.
And like, there was probably a contract before where Kanye was like, you can't
say this.
Which we get, but I don't know.
Well, you know what? Yeah, I hope you can get it together, because you have been such an integral part of music and part of my life. Like, I have Late Registration on vinyl. Like, that's one of my favorite albums.
And he has 5 albums that he's working on, and he has his own debut album he's coming out with.
So the upcoming albums are with Pusha T.
The first one's Pusha T.
May 25th.
I don't think he has dates for the others, but he has a solo album, which I believe is coming next. Then he has Kids See Ghost.
Ooh, let's talk about his collab with Nas, because Nas has been in the news lately. Have you been keeping up?
I haven't heard that.
Oh, do y'all want me to talk about this?
Go ahead, girl.
Okay, so again, Nas, another rap legend from the 90s. He used to be married to Khalees, which everybody knows who Khalees is, right?
Yes.
You know who Khalees
My
is.
milkshake
brings out the voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So see, I mean, that's why I'm like, maybe, yeah, sure.
Khalees has way better songs, but that was like
that's the one that drew me.
That's the one that shot her up. Well, because we were a lot younger too.
Yeah.
I was in front of the TV doing a milkshake dance, just like the girls.
Khalees and Nas were married, and they got married pretty young. She never really, or they had a child together, and then recently within the news, I want to say like the past 2 or 3 years, they've been in a custody battle.
Oh.
And so the whole narrative, because she hasn't been speaking out about it, but the whole narrative was like, oh, Khalees is this bitch. Like, she just won't let Nas, he's his son. Like, this is what y'all try to do. Y'all try to keep black women, or you black women want to spite us by not letting us see our kids and da-da-da-da-da. Just like going at her. And Khalees has been quiet most of the time. Pretty much doesn't comment on it. So she recently did an interview with Hollywood Unlocked. Yeah. And it was like a sit-down interview, and they were at her house, and she was just kind of talking about, like, you know, our relationship was tumultuous. Like, she's like, I knew he was cheating, but I really didn't care. I guess what she said with the last straw was, he was not only mentally abusive, but he was also physically abusive. And it would be because, like, they'd go out partying, he would black out, get drunk, do something, and then wake up in the next morning, not remember it, and then like try to come to her like everything was okay. So she was saying it was a really like
toxic relationship.
And so she was like, had it not been for my son, I wouldn't have got out of that relationship. She's like, but I needed to do better for me and my child. And so she basically just kind of responded. And so it's kind of torn a lot of the rap community, because I think this has been a big issue.
Because no one's ever heard Nas being like that.
They think of Nas as
he's never been in the news in a negative way.
Well, these days.
Yeah.
But yeah. But no, I agree. And I think with the Me Too movement and a lot of abuses towards women and things have become such a hot topic right now, I think that's why like the hip hop community is divided. But when are we going to kind of hold, not even just rappers, because it's not just in rap, even though it's the most, I feel like, visible, but it's not just in rap, it's through all forms of entertainment. But when are we going to start holding people accountable?
Well, and this kind of touches on what happened today with R. Kelly and XXX being removed from Spotify. I did read a comment earlier today, and they were like, no way they're going to just take down people's music, or especially people like Michael Jackson. You know, everybody knows Michael Jackson has been accused of certain things. But no, there's no way Spotify is going to take Michael Jackson's music down. And this person also, and I agree with them, they should just leave everyone's music up there, and they need to leave it to the audience to kind of make that decision and not give those artists streams.
Oh, I mean, man, I don't know about that, because, like, I get it, like, Spotify, maybe there could be an argument for them not deciding winners and losers on their platform.
Spotify is calling it their anti-hate policy.
But, I mean, come on. It's like if you had somebody on there, you know, talking bad about, you know, gay people or something, it's like, I mean, if you don't want to represent that as a brand, like, you have that option to control what happens under your company. So, I don't know. I mean, that's a legitimate debate that will have to play out. I'm sure they'll try to sue them over it or something.
And I know one thing that I struggle with a lot is, do you feel like you can separate the art from the artist? Like, if you know this person is just a whole bunch of fuck up, but they make really great music or really great movies, can you objectively say, I like this music but not this person?
And I'm going to say I struggle with that, particularly with XXX, because I really like his music, but I just don't know.
Some of his music.
And I agree with that. It's like, because even, like, we as Black women, I wrote a senior paper about this. How, like, as a Black woman, I love hip-hop because it's our culture. It's one of the last genres that we as Black people have created and still maintain the majority control of. Mm-hmm. So it's like, as a Black person, I love hip-hop. But as a woman, it's misogynistic as hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's misogynistic. It's, like, it's homophobic.
But also, that's where I kind of feel like we need to have those women in hip-hop kind of stand up and not take the misogyny, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Chance the Rapper has stepped in and kind of changed his ways as a rapper, and we need more rappers to change their ways and speak better and do better.
And I think I agree. I feel like there's 2018 and the latter half of 2017 has really become like the year of the woman and the year of the female artist, because you have like a lot of female rappers now like coming out, getting a fan base and support, not having to be overtly sexual. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because sexuality is, again, it's if that's how you express your art, that's how you express it. But that instead of just that being the only avenue for female rappers, like I feel like there's more. Mm-hmm. Like, you have No Name, you have her, well, she's not a rapper, but you know.
One example that I want to touch on that recently happened, I don't know if you listen to Cuban Doll, but I listened to her and I follow her on Instagram, and, you know, she recently got beat up and people were making memes about her and, like, talking about her, and it was her boyfriend who beat her up, and it's Chief Keef's cousin. I think his name is Tato.
Yeah,
And, like, you know, she recently came out about it because people were really, like, teasing her and, like, making memes. And it was just rude, you know, and disrespectful. And I'm glad she spoke up about it, you know?
Which I don't get. Like, why is the abuse of women funny? Like, why is that even a thing?
I don't think think the majority of people would think that the abuse of women is funny.
I don't think that everyone knew who did it.
I don't even know. Okay, not that it's funny, but it's very pushed under the rug a lot.
Oh, yeah.
There can be mountains and mountains of evidence, and people will still be like, I mean, what'd
she do?
Yeah, like, how did she provoke him?
That was the whole thing in that interview last week, and I was, you know, sitting back there on the production end, you know, I want to chime in, but I can't. And what I want to say is, like, if you look at the history of, you know, societies, especially our society, the onus, the responsibility to act right and do the right thing is going to be on men, because historically, you know, it has been men sort of oppressing women or getting away with things like that. And so even if it's like, yeah, no, Dre might say, or I don't know what he said exactly, that he said something about like, well, what did she do? You know, it's like, that's not the question that you really get to ask. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really... That's like such a minute percentage of things that might actually happen. That's not really realistic.
And I really think
you have to believe.
Sorry.
No, good.
No, I'm on it. I'm on
it. You're
what
okay.
You're saying.
No, I was gonna piggyback off that, and I hate also how people can kind of deflect and say, well, what about men who were abused?
Yes,
and
I mean, but that is kind of a cop out at that point, because you're addressing a real large, massive issue. It's like, you handle that.
Yeah.
And then we'll get to that.
Well, I feel like we can handle both because it's not.
Sure. I didn't mean it like.
No. But I'm saying like it's not even like women. Well, I won't say women because there are some women who follow that. But okay, like myself, I believe domestic violence can go both ways. I am by no means object to that, but it's like. I feel like it's men in the society of a man has to be tough. A man can't cry. And I said this with Dre. Like this societal thing that we have where men can't show emotions or it's shown as a weakness.
Yeah.
Like even when we talk about rape, people are like, well, like you see all these like female teachers that are raping their male students.
It ultimately comes down to the men. They need to stop hiding their emotions. And if a woman does hit you, you know, come out about that first rather than letting yourself hit her.
But I mean, I don't know if it's like Ronda Rousey hitting you or something, but like honestly, I've been, you know,
you've been slapped around, right?
Yeah, yeah. But it's like that's happened, and at the end of the day, it's like you still are in control of your mind. You can still stay calm. You can still let level heads prevail. And it's like no person should lay a hand on another person.
It should never get to that extent.
But like I don't know. I mean,
it's still not right. Even as like for a woman, for me to put my hands on you, it is still not right. And it's still
that's just like human, but it's not even like male female. It's like
exactly.
People should treat each other with kindness and respect.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
but I think violence. So many we're just caught, and that's the difference when people say toxically masculine. Like, I feel like there's a topic right now, and people are like, oh, so many of these feminists want us to stop being men, stop being masculine. Like, no, you can still be a man. You can still have be masculine, but where the toxicity comes is is what comes in is the whole like your 5-year-old son is crying. Oh, don't cry. I don't want him to be a wuss. Like, no, that's a human emotion. Let your 5-year-old child cry. Let your 30-year-old boyfriend cry. Like, that is a human emotion. I don't know why it's tied into femininity or anything like that. And that's what we talk about, like toxic masculinity, like having to be so masculine to the point that it diminishes your human emotion because you're trying to overcompensate.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to that, yeah.
Glad you guys agree. What do you guys think about Kids See Ghosts? Do you think this is gonna...
I'm excited for that. Honestly, out of all that he's working on, probably...
Back to Kanye's album.
Kids See Ghosts is what I'm most excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. It wasn't going to be the guy that operated on his mom?
Kids See Ghosts is...
This is the Kanye and Kid Cudi album, I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's an American hip-hop duo composed of musicians Kanye West and Kid Cudi.
That's what it said?
Yeah.
It's a Kid Cudi Kanye album.
How does Kid Cudi feel about all this?
That's what I want to know.
I'm about to drop an album with you, dude. Like, can you just...
I don't know. I'm interested to see what it sounds like. And we haven't heard from Kid Cudi in a minute.
Do y'all remember when Kid Cudi and Kanye were beefing after T-Lock? And Kid Cudi kind of went off the rails for a minute? Do you guys remember? Y'all don't remember that? It was after. This might have been when did the Life of Pablo drop? 2016. Whenever it dropped, after a few months after, because remember Drake and Cudi were beefing, and Kid Cudi went on a Twitter rant. We talked about his tweets on the Sooner Cypher, and he had said something about he doesn't owe it to something about him not paying homage to Kanye, and Kanye was like, "I birthed you, I made you." And that kind of got into a thing.
Yeah.
And then when Kanye was on tour, when Kanye was on tour, the Life of Pablo tour, he like went on a rant about how he made Kid Cudi. And then like 2 stops later, he was like, Cudi, my brother, you know, we just all go through some things. And he
does that so much.
I hope I never get famous to the point that I feel like you need to tell the public everything. You get what I'm saying? Like, I hope it never gets to the point, Fallon, where I can never just call you when I got a problem. I don't want to have to go on Twitter and be like, this bitch Fallon, she thinks she, like, you know, I hope
I see Raigen out, I'm going.
Like, I feel like I hope it never gets to that point where I just can't say, hey, Fallon, what you said really hurt my feelings. And as a friend, can we talk about this and decipher this?
Yeah. I mean, and that's where they go wrong, is publicly talking about their personal situations. We should have never known about that beef.
We shouldn't.
And so many artists go through that. Everyone has a beef, aka Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine.
Is that even a beef?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it is a beef, but like,
I would have never known about 6ix9ine if it wasn't for Trippie Redd. I didn't know about 6ix9ine.
I wish I didn't know about 6ix9ine.
Really?
I do.
I know people who used to not like him but have so much respect for him now. After that Breakfast Club interview they did with him, they have so much respect for him, and I'm like, wow.
What was that? Okay, I missed the interview.
I never watched the whole thing, but apparently he really explains himself and where he comes from and why he says the things he says, and I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna go watch that interview, and if it's a whole lot of nothing, I'm real sick of you SoundCloud, Twitter hype beasts.
Do you listen to any of his music?
I've heard his features. I don't like to give my streams to people that abuse women.
I haven't heard about his. I've seen the titles, but I haven't heard any
literally. There is a court case. I can't remember it because I haven't looked into it recently, but of him sexually assaulting a 13-year-old.
6ix9ine is the
yes.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Like there's court docs.
Okay.
Like that's another thing when I hate what. Okay, so can we elaborate on this?
Can we please?
So a lot of people with this going towards R. Kelly or XXX are like, well, they went to court and they were found not guilty, so like they must not be guilty, or like, you know, they're just like, y'all need to get off of him because the courts didn't do anything. So that's okay. That's a valid whatever. That's what you think. But in the same time, we as Black people, and I feel like most people know that the justice system does not always carry out what is right, what is fair.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you'll be okay with R. Kelly and whatever the courts decided on this, but when it comes to like police brutality and Black things, like you know how the criminal justice system it's corrupt. So it's like, then over here it's a problem, but over here it's right.
And I see where a lot of, you know, their audience will give them a pass if the courts say that. But then also, you know, if they go to go to jail for so long, like Kodak, you know, okay, he's done his time. He knows what he did was wrong. So is it okay to accept him again, forgive him, and then, you know, start listening to his music again? And
I think I think that doesn't have to be a yes or no. I think there's going to be some people that do and some people that don't, and you know, those are the consequences of. I don't know what Kodak did.
Yeah.
I know he was in jail for a while, but it's like some people, you know, some people are just going to stay mad. And I mean, to be honest, like if you did something really messed up, like what did Kodak do?
I mean, he's done so many different things.
Okay,
I feel like
so do we know why he was there?
He got sexual. It was like sexual assault. A couple of charges. Child endangerment was a charge, and then something else.
I'm about to pull up all of his charges.
Dang.
But I don't know.
I mean, I think there's like, you know, I can think of, you know, situations where there's people that, you know, went to prison or went to jail and they came out being amazing, you know, first class people that did great things with their lives. And I mean, I think that, yeah, I mean, if you're dead to society, it's not that everyone has to accept you, but I just don't think people should.
In February 2016, he sexually assaulted someone.
Yeah, that's messed up.
And so, I mean, I agree. It's like, where do we? And I don't think there is a right answer.
Okay, yeah,
that's a
gross.
big
he
subject.
orally attacked her. This is bad.
Oh,
it sounds like rape, y'all. This is really bad.
We're not laughing at this case. I'm laughing at my own reaction.
I mean, but. Is there a point
like
to
I
where
would. I mean, like I wouldn't hang out with that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like that seems pretty messed up.
I don't listen to his music. That's why I don't know much about his case. But is there a point where we're gonna forgive them? Because you know, a lot of people are Christian and a lot of people are taught to.
Girl, so many rappers when they win that Grammy, they go onto the stage and say, "I like to thank God." And the first song on their album is "Fuck a Bitch." In the we gonna slap her, we gonna pop this molly. Got these guts. Like what?
I don't know.
And I know I sound like an old ass person. I feel like I sound like my parents.
It's true. It's
like,
I mean, you know, I can't help but think about the album that Ray Shremmer and them just dropped. I don't know if you listened to it, but I was listening to it the other day. And when I listen to albums for the first time, I listen to the first, and I like to listen in the order.
No, I listen to the features first. I'm like, who on this that
what's
I
got
like
a star?
first?
I like
what's got a star.
No, I listen to it in the order that they presented to me because that's how they wanted me to listen to it.
Okay.
And so, but I couldn't help but just think about all of the things that they were saying about women and all the drugs. Like, oh my God, so many references to weed and drugs.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, when did they become so you know, I feel like they used to just be about having fun and like pumping people up, and I just feel like this was about drugs mostly and women, you know. One of the songs is called Big Old Bitties. Raigen, I couldn't help it.
Yeah.
I was like, is that my thumb or anthem?
But
I'm having a tough time with some of that stuff because, like, at the end of the day,
juggling bitties. That's what it's called.
Juggling bitties.
Juggling bitties.
We juggling.
I mean, I don't know. It's just really, you know, degrading. You know, and every time I see them out, I see just women around them all the time, young girls.
And so that's my thing is like you hear what these men say and kind of what they think about women. Now, again, this might just be a persona because, I mean, it's done. People do that all the time. They have their persona of what's going to get them views and what's going to get them money versus who they really are. But then you have like situations like with this whole Chris Brown issue that's surfaced with his friend allegedly raping a girl in his house.
Oh. Yeah,
Gloria Allred is taking the case, and so basically the woman had their phones taken, which is what a lot of celebrities do. Which I'm half and half on it. Like I get it. I think it's good because you don't want people just taking pictures of you on the slide and videos because with the way things are in the court of public opinion, you don't want something to leak without it like having context.
Well, there's all kinds of different stuff. It's like, you know, maybe you don't want someone taking a picture of you smoking a joint if you're not in like a legal or something. I don't know, but like there's something kind of nefarious and sinister about like taking someone's ability to like if it is sort of like a rapey thing.
Well, okay, so I think of it as like, okay, so me and Fallon have been like backstage at places and they're like, okay, turn your phone in. And so I think it's more as like, so we just not Snapchatting and Instagram and just like taking pictures.
From a female perspective, you find this okay?
I don't know if it's okay, but it's like I see where they're coming from to do it.
I don't know. I've been in cases where you have to put your phone away. Then I've also been in cases where I keep my phone, but I have to sign like a non-disclosure or...
Oh, really?
Not like that.
Backstage.
No, we didn't sign it. We ran. I said, nope.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like different artists have different ways of going about it. And Chris Brown is the type of person, I feel like he does probably have to have strong documents that the women need to read if they're going to enter his house. And at this point, he needs to just stop having parties at his house.
Girl, that is the main. That's what I'm saying.
If I was Chris Brown, I wouldn't want nobody in my house.
Chris Brown need
my friends can't even come over. I'm sorry, we're gonna have our own house for the friends.
Time out. Chris Brown needs an OVO machine around him because he's been in the game longer than Drake.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
I would imagine that Drake needed to build a machine because it's the thing you don't hear about. Like even when there was the rumor of Drake having a child. Where's it been since? Exactly. He took care of it. He handled
caught and killed.
I've heard of
somebody Romeo sniped her out.
No. Catch and kill is a journalism thing.
Oh.
You actually
I thought you really meant.
No, have you never heard of a catch and kill? It's actually a legal thing. So what a catch and kill is basically Donald Trump has been called out. Harvey Weinstein had a bunch of catch and kills, but basically you get like he had the editor of the Inquirer. It was like his buddy in his pocket. And he would have that person go get the exclusive rights to this story that's about to drop and then just kill it. And then he'd pay that guy.
Oh,
and that's actually a very popular, it's a common way to get rid of things.
I mean, but a good example of this
and then you silence the lady with the
might
non-disclosure.
be able to associate to is, remember that the Drake Champagne Poppy episode in Atlanta when they go to the Drake party and they have to sign the papers or they give their phones away, you know, and they go into the house, and sometimes you go to these parties, you don't ever see the artist, so it's just kind of like, why are you taking my phone, you know? There have been so many times we've had our phone taken away, and there's nothing that we see bad going on.
And I also get it, but I get it like on the shade room aspect and baller alert of people, you see shit on Snapchat all the time.
That's true.
But I've also been in situations like that, and my phone doesn't get taken.
Yeah, I mean, there have been times my phone hasn't been taken either, and I'm like, wow, but I still don't snap or nothing.
Yeah, because it's like an unspoken rule.
It's like
if you're gonna take
but it's
y'all's
just like
phones,
respect.
take my. I guess because like Why is it just the women that got?
You remember that time?
Maybe I
actually they took his phone too, because I was gonna say they took all the phones, the girls' phones, but not the dudes' phones.
But they did they took everyone's phones.
Okay, if they took everyone's phones, then, I mean, I don't know. I think at that point you gotta take a look at the situation. If you're intoxicated, I don't know. I mean, you can't prescribe a one.
So time out. Back to Chris Brown, because we got off that real quick. So the girl her phone was taken, and allegedly there were some drugs given. She didn't take the drugs. And allegedly, she was just like, I really feel uncomfortable. I want to leave. And then she was raped by one of his friends. And then she tried to leave or grab her, or before she could get her phone, she called like an Uber. And while the Uber was on the way, she was raped again.
Oh my God.
And so, yeah, it was like some in-depth thing. And my thing is, and so a lot of the comments I was reading was like, and why was she there?
Wait, this happened last year, February of 2016. This was a year ago when all this happened.
So my thing is like, Chris Brown, you really need to, and Chris Brown allegedly did nothing wrong. So stop surrounding yourself with these type of people. Like,
did you see the dude that was associated to it? No. I think they came out with his name, and I tried to find pictures of him, but
my thing is like, he's
supposedly
you're almost 30. If he's not 30, he has a child. Like, at that point, you have to take responsibility about one, the people you let in your home, and two, who you surround yourself with.
You gotta do that.
Yeah,
way
he's almost 30.
I mean, you gotta do it way sooner, but he's been through the ringer so much. It's like,
when are you gonna learn?
When are you gonna? Yeah. And so that's the thing. That's why I can't feel sorry for Chris Brown like everybody else does, because it's like he has a pattern of behavior that he's like constantly.
Are you referring to just the Rihanna?
Well, just from Rihanna to self-abuse allegations with Karrueche.
Yeah.
To just like a lot. Like,
I mean, I feel like he has no. I mean, I feel like I don't know. I don't really know what Chris Brown's doing. I would love to support him, but
well, I think like as a general thing, I think like what I'm hearing is sort of like guys need to step up. Guys need to have that onus, that responsibility to sort of like create a better environment or create a different aspect in the conversation where it's not like, well, what did she do?
It's so victim blaming. It's like when a woman is raped, well, what was she wearing? Why was she there? Yeah. Why did she go? None of those questions matter. It should be, why did this person not wait for consensual sex? Yeah. Like,
it's like, oh, the cop shot this guy. Well, what did he do?
Exactly. Thank you. Like, people.
I mean, in most cases, whenever a woman turns down an artist or whoever, they just like, okay, leave.
Okay.
Which I mean is rude as fuck, but I respect it.
Yeah, like.
Well, I mean that's better. I mean,
I learned that valuable lesson a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's rude as hell, but you right.
Let me get on out of here. You're right.
It's been a good conversation.
It really has. I feel like we covered a lot of different topics. Westin, I'm glad you came and you stuck through it with us.
Yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed being here.
We need to do.
Let us know what y'all think. Comment on what you thought was more interesting.
Join in the conversation as well, because we want to hear what you guys think. If you agree with us, if you disagree, like, let us know, because I love to argue.
No, I don't hop back in there and give you some more of what we feel.
It was a thoughtful discussion.
So things going on in OKC really quick before we get out of here. There's going to be a Habit Mural Fest in Tulsa, May 26th and the 27th. You can find more info about that on Line Up OKC.
And you can also RSVP on Line Up OKC. Make sure you do that.
Gunna's going to be in town
June
24th, so you guys can get tickets at Line Up OKC as well. Unfortunately, our season has concluded.
Oh, yeah.
Fallon, this is all you. This is sports.
No, I mean, I'm so sad. Oklahoma City didn't make it to playoffs. Hopefully we'll do it next year.
We did make it. We just
we didn't make it through. This always happens to us. We always fall short, but whatever.
Anything else?
No, I think that's
I'm going to be on hiatus for a while. I'll be...
Tune in on Raigen's Instagram.
Yeah, I'm going to
We got some vlogs coming soon.
I'm going to try to vlog Aruba. I'll be on Aruba for Soul Beach Music Fest, so I will be trying to get some interviews and some pictures.
If you can make it out there, go.
Go. It's Memorial Weekend in the end of May.
And her vlog will take us backstage.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to get on that, and so you guys just kind of stay with us, and I think that's it. Oh, our new and lovely intro. I know you guys love it.
Gosh,
you guys like it. Shout out to my boy Josh Salee.
Yeah.
He really hooked it up for us. And check out his music. Here. Yeah, we're gonna have him on the podcast soon. So check out his music on Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud.
It's a good dude. He's a good dude.
And we will see you next week.